Hi everyone, welcome to Citizen episode 16, and it's a Citizen Past, so it's looking at things from City's history. So obviously we do the presents, and this is obviously we like to have a good notice of how we're going in the league, etc. But obviously it's a City Past, looking at City's history, and more importantly, sort of my memories of City as well. I will delve further in the past than of the year I was born, 1959. I will, of course, delve deeper into the past than that, but I'll always try and make it as personal as I can, obviously, with things I know. So what we're going to look at today, going to do a little program opening later, just half a dozen envelopes. I've literally just cut them to open them, but I've not actually peeked inside yet. See what programs I've been buying. As you know, I buy programs regular, mainly Manchester City ones. Rather occasionally I buy another one, but so I've got 6 of those to have a look at after anyway when we have a good look at those. On Twitterverse, there's a few things just to show you on Twitterverse. Not too much this week, obviously. Yeah, I want to concentrate on the main thrust of this thing today. And also, there's it's sort of got a little bit of notice. One of the popular quiz games on TV. This is now mid-November. A couple of weeks ago, I had a young lady doing a specialist subject on Manchester City. So I thought it was quite unusual. I looked back at it, and obviously there was 12 questions. The young lady got 10 right. I actually did it obviously without the pressure of being under the spotlight, etc. If you know the program I'm referring to. Obviously, I got 9 out of 12. So I've got the questions there. Just thought you might be interested just to see how well you could do. So before I go on to the main thrust of the thing, I'll give you the questions now, then I'll give you the answers before I go later on. So there's 12 questions. See how quickly you can think of it. As I said, if you know the quiz, it's a well-known quiz. You don't have much time to answer these questions. So try and think within a short space of time if you know the answer. And obviously, you can cheat if you want, but what's the point in that? You know what I mean? It's best to know if you know the questions very quickly. Anyway, I'll read them out to see what you think. Which was the only side to beat Manchester City at the Etihad in the 2018-19 season? Question 2. What member of City's 86 FA Cup winning squad played his last game against Middlesbrough in August 1992, having been forced to retire? Who was that? Question 3. A famous City fan wrote a best-selling memoir in 1998. Manchester United ruined my life. Who was it? Question 4. Both of City goals on New Year's Day 2007 against Everton were scored by the same player. Can you remember who it was? City didn't score again for the rest of the season. So both of City goals on New Year's Day match in 2007 at the Etihad versus Everton. City didn't score again that season. Who scored those 2 goals versus Everton New Year's Day 2007? Who scored the first goal in the 6-1 win versus Manchester United at Old Trafford in 2011 and removed his shirt to show a slogan, "Why always me"? Question 6. City reached the semi-finals of the Champions League in 2016. But who did they beat in the quarter-finals to get there? Question 7. Father and son, the surname of the father and son who both played in goal for the first team since the year 2000. So the surname of the father and son who played in goal for City since 2000. Question 8. A City boss won the Premier League's Manager of the Month award in 1995, but then resigned the following August because of relegation. Who was that manager? So City boss won the Manager of the Month 1995, but resigned the following August. Which manager would that be? Question 9. August 2003. City's first ever European game since 78-79 was played in August 2003. City won 5-0 in the UEFA Cup. Who against? So City's first European game since 78-79. City won 5-0 August 2003. Who did they beat 5-0? Question 10. Which Algerian made his debut for City alongside Ali Benabia at Newcastle in 2003? Which Algerian? Question 11. In 2017, Sergio Aguero became City's all-time leading scorer when he scored his 178th goal. Who did he score against? 2017. And the final one. Which former World Player of the Year joined City on a free transfer in August 2000, but sadly left 2 months later with only 1 league goal to his credit? Question 12. Okay, that's it. Well, that's it. I just run through there. Sorry for the pause in there. I'm just reading. I can't read my own writing. Wonder how you did. I'll give you the answers after. The young lady in it was, I think she was called Jane Nelson. I got 10 right in the allotted 2 minutes. So see how you do. I mean, there are questions that you probably might know if you thought about it, but obviously just think that you're on the spot. So hey, there you go. I got 9 points, so she beat me anyway. And so there you go. I'll give you the answers in it before we go. Right, this is the main thing we're going to look at today. Obviously, my memories of City. Obviously, I remember the old. I think most of you of my age would have been members or been regular visitors to the Manchester City Social Club. I joined it in the mid to late 70s. I don't think you needed great ID then. I may have faked ID or used one of my elder brothers to get myself a membership card, because I was pretty much going from the age of 16. Obviously, officially I could go at 18, obviously, so I had to be very careful, because I don't think you were classed as a junior then if you had a season ticket. So you're thinking, well, are they going to link the two together? But anyway, I used to get in the social club quite regularly from the mid 70s. In the late 70s is where I met my first wife. Obviously, my 3 children now are all from that marriage. We were married 28 years. So we actually had a blind date and met in the Manchester City Social Club. So it means quite a lot to me, obviously, the social club. I think it started in the mid 60s. And why I mention that is obviously when I was doing the Roy Clarke. And obviously, Roy Clarke run the Manchester City Social Club for nearly 25 years, from 1966, I think, to about 1990. I think the club itself was knocked down in the 90s, although it sort of, I think it become a little bit sort of run down a little bit before that. I mean, it was at its prime, obviously, in the 70s when I was going. It was superb. I remember I used to go Friday and Saturday night. I lived in Whittington, so it was only obviously a 20-minute walk to the ground, a 20-minute walk to the social club. I do remember occasionally being a bit mean and not getting a taxi for my ex, and we would walk back, and she wasn't very happy in her high shoes, obviously, but that's another thing. But yeah, Roy was in charge, and I knew Roy Clarke from the time. I was only a young man myself. I obviously probably wasn't as cocky as I would be now if I met someone I know and asking questions. But we used to have a little chat. We used to if he didn't look too busy, I used to sort of ask. We used to chat about how City were doing, etc., etc. And I knew obviously of his. He was obviously a player in the 50s, 55, 56, 55. He got City to the FA Cup final. 56, he took part in the obviously in the winning the Burt Troutman final. He played, which we've covered obviously in a previous one of these. So I did know a bit of his past, but obviously in 1976 there was an actual testimonial for him as well around about the same time. So I thought I'd have a quick look at Roy Clarke today, have a little look at his programme, a little bit about him. And as I say, I wasn't his best buddy, we didn't have chats for ages, but we did a chat about things and football in the main. He also had a sports shop on Wilmslow Road, on the corner of Wilmslow Road, and they were the first with I think through his links with Troutman to start stocking Adidas, or Adidas we used to call it at the time when we were teenagers, Adidas stuff. And so I used to be a regular visitor in there. I don't ever remember. I think I did. I may have seen him there once, but obviously, I'm just, my memories obviously not great, but I think I did manage to see him in his shop once. But obviously, he did eventually sell that out to somebody else. So it was only a brief flirtation that he had the shop. But obviously, Adidas was the thing for us. Our first real sports T-shirts were Adidas shirts, and I was a teenager in the 70s. They were the ones that were always popular. So it was a little bit expensive for me. I used to go to a shop in Northend, and can't remember the place now, to get a lot of my sort of cheap shirts, cheap replica kit things. The First Sport or something it was called in Northern, and some of you might remember, I don't know, but I used to go there in the 70s because it was a lot cheaper. But I did occasionally wander into Alexander Sports and have a look round, and I may have bought the odd thing from there, I'm not too sure. So yeah, I used to have that as well. He was born 1st of June 1925 near to Newport in Wales. Obviously, he was Welsh. He was a Welsh international as well as playing for City. He sadly died on the 13th of March 2006 after he did suffer from Alzheimer's disease late in his life, which is very sad, obviously. His testimonial was the 2nd of November 76. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Bit disappointing the crowd. It was just under 9,000, 8,928. But it was a weird time for testing. They didn't always get masses, thousands and thousands of crowds to these testimonials. He made his first appearance in the 46-47 season. His final appearance for City was in 57-58. So just before I came into this world, obviously. Scoring 73 league goals, 6 FA Cup goals. And for Wales, he played 22 times with 5 goals between 1948 and 56, and he was a winger, and City sort of spotted him, and he came from Cardiff City. He was a pit engineer while he was playing for Cardiff City, so he worked down the pit as an engineer. That was his trade. But he was also very good at, he was a very sporty guy. He used to play baseball for Wales as well. Baseball then in the 40s was quite popular, and he used to play baseball for Wales and he did have an opportunity, I believe, to go over to America and play baseball professionally, which he never did. So he was very sporty, obviously. So the baseball thing, thankfully, as far as we're concerned, didn't really come off. And obviously, he went from Cardiff City and he came to Manchester City. And I believe he was a bit worried about the weather. He was a bit. I didn't think Cardiff City was the warmest, nicest of places weather-wise, but he was a bit put off by the threats of the Manchester weather. But apparently, once he got here, I mean, his good lady wife was, made sure she had a big coat, and he made sure he had a thick coat. But he said once he got to Manchester, obviously, and met the people and lived in Manchester, he realised he'd made the correct decision. And obviously, it was close to his heart ever since after that. He did have a bit of wonky knees. I mean, when he was very young, he did have trouble with his knees, and he was advised that he'd probably never really make it in sport because his knees would always let him down. And he was troubled by things like that throughout his career. So anyway, let's have a look at this programme, a little bit of his lifetime achievements. Well, he won the Lifetime Achievement Award in 2004 for Manchester City. So obviously, is in Gary James's book about all the guys who have won that, the legends of City. So there we have the Roy Clarke Lifetime Achievement Award there. Let's have a quick look through his programme first. So his testimonial programme, obviously. Let's see what we can see in this. So we got the Fred Summers, who was the chairman for the committee chairman for this testimonial. I'll just read his forward. So why 18 years after his last kicked a ball for Manchester City am I delighted to be working for the benefit of Roy Clarke? It isn't just friendship, although Roy and I have been pals since he arrived from Cardiff in 1947. It's just admiration, although Roy's great skill and courage on the left wing made him a City favourite for 11 years and earned him more than 20 Welsh international caps. It's gratitude for the pleasure he gave me as a fan, the dedication he gave to his club, and the credit he brought to the game. I cannot recall him being booked in his whole career. So, I mean, that's quite unusual, isn't it? I mean, that doesn't really happen, does it? So that's Fred Summers, some nice words from Fred Summers there. Tribute from the chairman. Obviously, you got Peter Swales, his own personal tribute. Whatever you say about Peter Swales, obviously, he had a right. It's nice to see him being so kind to Roy Clarke, obviously. And there we have Royston James Clarke. And there's a picture of the Wales 3, rest of the UK 2. Can you see Roy? That's Roy Clarke on the end there. Royston James Clarke. Action picture. Main Road, 1st of the 11:52. The centre from right wing evaded Sunderland centre half Hall and goalkeeper Threadgold, and also City outside left Clarke. But City's centre forward Williamson cut in to score his first. So he's missed it, but obviously someone's going to run in and score that for him. Peter Slingsby of the Sunday People. I don't really know who Peter Slingsby is. And there's a familiar photograph, obviously, of Roy Clarke outside the Manchester City Social Club. I mean, that's my memories of him in a blazer with a suit and tie. And obviously some nice, well, I'll read the words out that Roy's actually written for the programme. The testimonial granted to me by the board of directors means more to me for its thoughtfulness behind it than it's mere granting. I cannot express my thanks and appreciation enough, but to the chairman, Mr. Peter Swells, and everyone of the present board, and to Mr. Joe Smith, who unfortunately through ill health had to retire, I give mine and my wife's heartfelt thanks for this opportunity of securing something for our future. To my testimonial chairman, Fred Summers, his wonderful committee who have toiled so long and so hard on my behalf, my sincere gratitude forever. After working so long at Main Road, I have made many, many friends. To mention everyone would take an eternity. What a feeling it is to play, to work, to live behind the portal halls of Manchester City. My whole life has been dedicated to everyone there, from the very young apprentice to the oldest and longest serving member of staff. But finally, to the supporters, the most generous, most courteous, most faithful and patient band of people, I thank from the bottom of my heart for accepting me as I am and always will be a true blue Manchester citizen. So absolutely great words. I mean, he worked for the development committee before he took over the social club in 66. And there's various tributes to Roy, obviously from legend Bert Troutman. There's tribute for him. Writing and saying anything about Roy isn't so very difficult, even though a lot of youngsters following Manchester City today haven't seen Roy play and so know little about the person and player Roy Clarke. Having been associated with Roy as a player for Manchester City over a period of many years, I have never known anybody with a deeper love and respect for the game. His willingness to help any youngster coming into the game, to soothe and reassure him, had to be seen to be believed. His kindness to the old, his dedication to charity and his devotion to his family make him a truly remarkable person. I know Roy doesn't want any thank yous, but football in general, especially Manchester, owe Roy immense respect and gratitude. With this in my mind, my wife and myself and Nobby and his family owe our respect and love, and we wish them all the best for the future and a bumpy benefits. So you got Harry Godwin, Don Revie, there's a wonderful Don Revie. Jack Dyson obviously played alongside him, as did Don Revie. Ken Barnes, another player who played with Roy Clarke in those wonderful years. And we got some really nice things. We got some pictures from Roy's album, so signing on there. So we've got the Roy Clarke signing on, Roy and his family, a nice image. Club of the Year, I think the City Club won that a couple of times at least, the Club of the Year award. Obviously looking quite dapper there, isn't he? Shopkeeper, so there you go, there's the old tennis racket. So that's actually became Alexander Sports, but obviously it's Roy Clarke's Sports, the one I was talking about on Wilmslow Road. And there we go, the old bath. I mean, you wouldn't see that these days. I mean, that was just how it was. They used to obviously have the old baths rather than what they have now, which is very cool. And there's the teams. I mean, this is what the team for the testimonial, cracking team, wasn't it? I mean, City, Corrigan, Clements, Donachie, Doherty, Conway, Watson, Power, Barnes, Kidd, Royal, Stewart, Jed Keegan, Gary Owen. And of course, a triple champ. So you're talking the league, the FA Cup, cup winners team. Dowd, Buck, Pardo, Doyle, Booth, Oakes, Heslop, Mike Summerby, Francis Lee, Colin Bell, Neil Young, Tony Coleman, Derek Jeffries. And obviously we even had a United versus City youth game to kick the thing off. So yeah, I mean that's obviously I attended that obviously 1976. Sadly, I don't remember too much about the game. But it's nice, all these things they have for your autographs. You can go and put all your autographs. I was 16, 17 then, so I probably stopped getting autographs. But obviously you've got all the thank yous, etc. that you get in the make use of. It's the Manchester City Hall of Fame by the wonderful Gary James. Roy Clarke Lifetime Achievement Award tells you a bit about Boy, and just some nice pictures. Roy Clarke seen pre-match at Main Road in '56 with the old scoreboard and in the background. Yeah, I mean, that's when I first went to Main Road. That's the image I remember. That's what the scoreboard looked like to me. So it's really nice, even though that's '56, and my first game was probably 10 years later. That was still what it was. There's his career stats. Obviously, as I said, started 46-47 to 57-58. And outside left, 1947. Typical height, 1.75. That's 5'9". So he was only a small guy. He wasn't a big guy. 11 stone, 8 pound. Born Newport, 1st of June. And there you go. League debut. Newport County home, 14th of June, 1947. And there's some great images. I mean, this obviously there is the scene from the 1956 final. That's Roy Clarke celebrating in the background there. And that's Dyson, who's just scored the second goal. I don't think Roy Clarke scored in '56. He actually scored in the semi-final in '55 to get us there in '55. And there he is proudly with the bottom of the cup. We all know about the bottom of the cup, don't we? That's there. 1956. And Roy's prime time. And they do talk about in this book with Gary James. And you can probably get this online. About the FA Cup semi-final the year before when we did actually lose the final, unfortunately. But obviously we beat Sunderland 1-0 and Roy Clarke scored the goal. There's an image of him, the diving header there into the goal. The only goal, the semi-final at Villa Park. We made it out of habit, didn't we, to scoring 1 goal semi-final wins at Villa Park. And obviously he picked up an injury, unfortunately, so he couldn't play in the '55 FA Cup final, which we got beaten. But fortunately, as we know, he did play in the '56 one. There's obviously an image of the programme I've shown you. And obviously you've got people like Bob Monkhouse and all the stars of the social club are actually commenting. And there's a lovely picture of Roy with his good lady when he collected his Hall of Fame award in January 2004. Yeah, so I mean, obviously, if you think about the club, Majors, Bob Monkhouse, Frankie Vaughan, I mean, all the top clubs. I mean, the City Social Club was one of the big things to go to, and it was like any of the clubs. There's clubs in Manchester, but obviously it was ideal. It's where it's great. I mean, you listen to a comedian, some music, some dancing. It's just a bit of everything, and people who've been to the social club, it is sadly missed. I mean, it's something I would, you just don't get now. And obviously the great, but I saw some great acts there. As I said, legends, really. The Bob Monkhouse. I think I saw Les Dawson there. I think I saw, obviously, Bernard Manning would actually appear there as well. So, yes, that's Mr. Roy Clarke, absolute City legend. Great if you just read up on him, see what he's done for City, but sadly no longer with us, obviously, but will be fondly remembered. That's Roy Clarke. Right, we go on to the programme openings now. Have a quick look what we've got. As I say, I've unsealed these, but I've not looked inside to see what we've got. Oh, it's quite a modern one, 1992. Arsenal versus Manchester City, £1.50, September the 28th, kickoff 7:45. Any of you go to that one? George Graham, the manager, the voice of Arsenal. Yeah, well, I mean, they were obviously doing really well then, weren't they, Arsenal in those days? I mean, obviously a bit of the doldrums at the moment. On a great picture of Niall Quinn there. I don't think we had a very good. I mean, I only ever saw one victory at Highbury in all the years of going. Obviously, we've got a better record at the new ground. But Arsenal was never a place we really wanted to go. We all dreaded it, didn't we? The old Andy Gray there. He's still with us, isn't he, Mr. Andy Gray? Lee Dixon, obviously, he was supposedly a City fan when he was a young lad, but obviously he's more Arsenal now, more dyed in the wool Arsenal you'd expect. Some action pictures there from the game against Blackburn. Bobby Mims, remember Bobby Mims there? In the action pictures, Anders Limpar. Some great players. Just wondered how we're doing in the league this one. Let's see. It's always nice to know how far we are. Nigel Winterburn, player profile. Nice glossy colour, hasn't it? Like these you think back to the 70s when these things still came out. In the crowd there, can you see your face? If you see your face, you get some sort of prize. Remember those things? Crossword. Arsenal ladies, well, we weren't quite, Manchester City ladies weren't quite on a par with them then, were they? They were obviously Arsenal ladies won quite a lot, obviously, over the years. Nice action pictures. A big programme. There's a bit on Manchester City. Couple of pages. Don't go. Old Miss Michael Vonky and Brightwell. Remember Vonky, don't we? 4 pages. I'm being mean. Obviously, Peter Reid, Gary Flitcroft, Tony Colton. No one should be misled by Manchester City's erratic start to the season. It will only have doubled their resolve to prove they are ready to win one of the top honours. So nothing changes there, does it? Let's be honest about it. An erratic start to the season. Doing a lot better than Arsenal before that game. And there's the teams. There's some great names there. Seaman, Dixon, Adams, Jensen, Wright, Smith, Merson, Parler. Obviously, Colton, Brightwell, Phelan, Reid, Curl, Vonk, White, Flitcroft, Quinn, Simpson, Holden. Yes, that's really good. That's one of the newer ones. Obviously, you do tend to be the older ones. Oh, look at this one. Oh, we got Arsenal again. There we go. League Division 1, 18th of February 1970. A fantastic action picture with the main. Look, empty seats in the main stand. It never goes away, does it? I think that's Ian Bowyer, Neil Young, Franny Lee. Willie Donachie league debut versus Forest. So obviously Willie Donachie's made his look. We've got trophies there as well. And back in the 60s, that can't be right, can it? Fantastic. I love those action pictures. Some great action pictures there. But we can't stop Forest's fine run. So Forest obviously were doing really well in the late 60s. Obviously, it wasn't just Mr. Clough. I mean, look at it. The crowd's a bit sparse there in the old scoreboard end, the old North stand. Welcome to Arsenal. Bob Wilson, obviously another legend. There's the team. Wilson, Story, McNabb, McClintock, Kelly Marinello, Peter Marinello, Charlie George, John Radford, John Samuels, George Armstrong, some great names. And obviously City, Kemberlern, Pardo, Mann, Doyle, Buvokes, Bowles, Bell, Lee, Bowyer, Lee, Young and Caridas. Absolutely fantastic. Adverts for Finland's there. Truman, Steele. We always Umbro here. City always select Umbro. More facts about the Gunners. Nice little programmes, nice and simple, but there's plenty in them, isn't there? Obviously the results. How are we doing? So we're not doing great. We're down there. But Arsenal not doing very well again. So again, they're below us. That's quite unusual, isn't it? I mean, we're 3rd, 6th, 8th, and about 12th, and Arsenal are 15th. So, hey, Arsenal haven't always been, have we? The old City Bingo, City Social Club. There we go. Forthcoming attractions. Enjoy 2 days in Portugal. Inquire at the Social Club office. There you go for the Académica de Coimbra European game coming up, which is one I'll talk about one day. Another one of the games that means a lot to me. And the scoreboard where you can win some money there. And look at the next one. Looks like a new one. This a bigger envelope, bigger bulk. There we go. So we got Reading, haven't we? Reading against Manchester City. March the 27th, 1999. Obviously, is it the Majeski? Yeah, we're into the Majeski Stadium. So they couldn't have been there that long, could they? At the Majeski Stadium. Again, nice glossy programme, the 1990 programmes, aren't they? Lots of pages, lots of adverts, but lots of pages as well. What are we doing in the league there? Well, it's the Nationwide League Division 2, and very close. We're in 6th, and Reading are below us in 7th. So it's good if you go back yourselves and have a look back how we went on in these games. Just a little bit of interest if you like your history. Obviously, Reading and City, there's a team. You've got players like Vikings and Vaughan and Brown and Taylor, Goetze, Terry Cook, Paul Dickoff. So, I mean, it's the sort of thing if you wanted to go back and look how we did in those games. It's really interesting. And another older one, another great big game. Obviously, Liverpool, FA Cup 4th round replay. 7th of February 1973. Well, the original game was my first ever away game at Anfield. This is for the replay. So again, this is a time when I was going to games and I just just wasn't collecting programmes, so I bought this recently because it was a game I attended. Obviously, it's showing you the league fixture. We'd actually win this one as well, if you remember rightly. We actually would beat Liverpool in this replay. Fantastic night. Again, probably talk about that again. In the league, we're not doing fantastically in the league. Just under halfway again. Liverpool top, and no surprise there. History has a sense of repeating itself, doesn't it? Some action from Anfield. So that's where I was at. That was up the. I think that was up the other end. I'm not sure was that our end. Can't remember now. I know Franny Lee actually scored a goal, but it was ruled off for offside. So it ended up 0-0 at Anfield. And that was quite tasty, but we'll talk about that one day as well. That was a great game at Anfield and a great atmosphere. And for my first away trip was something to look back on. Great teams: Clemens, Loyola, Lindsay, Thompson, Lloyd Hughes, Keegan, Cormac, Highway, Toshak, Callaghan. Obviously City, Corrigan, Buck, Donachie, Doyle, Booth, Jeffries, Summerby, Bell, Marsh, Lee, Towers. Absolutely fantastic team. Should have done better in the 70s. We should have won more trophies actually in the 70s. We had some really good teams. There's Kevin Keegan. City bingo again. Mike Doyle at Heartshead Motor. There you go. Social club activities. So the social club's appearing a lot, isn't it? It seems we've talked about Roy Clarke. And the last one we'll have a quick look at. Oh, there we go. Some more... Another one, Chelsea away, Saturday the 12th of April, 74-75. So it's 1975, towards the end of the season. So they had a colour, I think in 75, I think it was 76 before City had colour programmes. But if you actually look, it's black and white inside. It's just the cover that's actually in colour. I think City did it a couple of times as well, produced a colour cover. There's the team, Bell, Marsh, Royal and Chewett. There you go, so it's... Chelsea Football Club, of course, at Stamford Bridge, which they will be vacating. Some action from Chelsea against Stoke City there. Bill Garner. No, I don't remember that guy. Tommy Baldwin. Not particularly. This is another... I had a replica of that kit when I was about 10 or 11. Chelsea apprentices and professional. Do we know any of these? Gary Stanley, Tommy Langley, Steve Wicks, Terry Maybank, Clive Walker. It could be Clive Walker. I could know Clive Walker. He does ring a bell. And how are we doing in the league? Football League Division 1. Well, not many games left. 3, 6, 8. So City is sitting about 12th and Chelsea fighting against relegation there. It looks as though they should probably safe, but 4th from the bottom, Chelsea. So not doing too great. As I said, go back, have a look, see how we did. Our visitors, Manchester City. So I say that was 12th of April, 1975. So have a look. How did we do? Did we beat them? Did we put them near relegation? Yeah, you go and find out. See if you can find out what exactly happened with that. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Right, so we'll look at Roy Clarke and some programmes. Let's have a quick look at the old City Twitterverse. Some guys on here do some really good stuff. We've done City on a car before, haven't we? We talked about them. Well, this is obviously Manchester City in 1907. Some really great images of the City team from then. So City on a card, always give them a follow. They're really, really good. Some great old stuff. So at City on a Card, one if you wanted to keep up to date on that and put that on your Twitter account to follow those. Kevin Cummins at KC Mank, all large letters. I've been scanning some pics in of Malcolm Allison for my next Man City programme feature. They were taken on the 13th of October 79 versus Forest. Here's the end shot with Cloughy reacting to City's 90th minute winner from Kazu Dana. So it's quite funny. Obviously, he's pulling his face there and he's showing, obviously, we were a little bit lucky to perhaps win that game, but that's Kevin Cummins, who has to say, so got some great pictures, obviously, on City on there. City on a card again. And I used to get these. My dad used to get these, and I've actually lost them, where they used to be, Royal Mail did these special things of actually for games. This is City against Newcastle, the League Cup final. But they used to do those commemorative things, and I'd have quite a few of those. But unfortunately, when I've been looking through memory boxes, it looks as though I've lost those. But again, City on a card, some good memories there. Andy Savage received his copy of The Formidable. So it's a little book by at 111 Leslie 111. I'm not just saying it's absolutely fantastic, must for any Man City fan. Looking through, it's adrenaline kicked again and again, going through all last season's fantastic season. So have a look out for that. A new book, The Formidables. That's well worth a look. And the last thing, obviously, and again, this is a guy I may broach on in a future thing, to be honest with you, on City on a Card 1, again, at City on a Card 1. And it's the legendary Bobby Johnston, who I actually worked at Smithfield Market in Manchester at the same time. So this is obviously a car from 1959, Manchester City in Scotland, City on a Card. So Bobby Johnston's another one that I've had a few chats with and might appear in one of these specials over the years. So that's only a quick look at Twitter today. Nothing much on there. And quickly, do you want the answers? Do you want the answers to the old quiz? Right, which was the only City side to beat. The only side to beat City, that was Crystal Palace. Obviously, the player who obviously played for the FA Youth Cup winning squad and obviously was injured against Middlesbrough was, of course, Paul Lake. I mean, there's a thing with quizzes where if you say the answer Paul Lake, you'll get at least one question right in any City quiz. So yes, it's Paul Lake. And the writer of Manchester United Rule My Life was, of course, Colin Schindler. Not obviously very popular with a lot of people for writing that. A lot of people didn't like that book because of what it was. But hey, there you go. It was at a time when we weren't doing very well. But I think he's had a few negative things to say since, hasn't he? So anyway, I've not heard of him for a while. I don't know what he's up to. The New Year's Day, both for City goals were scored by Georgie Samaras, and as I said, we didn't actually score again in the league that season back in 2007. So we didn't score a goal at the Etihad from New Year's Day to the end of the season. So we all remember, or sadly remember that, don't we? Who scored the first goal in 6-1 against United? Well, I mean, revealed his shirt. I think the clue, I mean, if they just stopped to not put "Why Always Me," it might have been a bit more difficult, but obviously we all know it's Mario Balotelli. City reached the semi-finals of the Champions League in 2016, of course. To do that, in the quarterfinals, they beat PSG. And the father and son sharing the same surname that played for City. Post-2000, obviously, was Schmeichel. City boss, Premier League Man of the Month, Manager of the Month award, and then he resigned the following August, was, of course, Alan Ball. August 2003, so City's first ever European game. This is my first ever European trip when I went over to the Millennium Stadium to watch City play TNS, of course. But the first game we played, obviously, was the final win at the Etihad against TNS, which was our first competitive European game since 78-79, TNS. Which Algerian played alongside Ali Benarbia? I didn't have a clue myself. It was Djami Belmadi or Belmodi or however you pronounce it. And I don't remember him. Some of you might remember him better than I do. I wouldn't have got that. I didn't know that at all. And 2017, Aguero became City's all-time leading scorer, of course, when he scored against Napoli in the Champions League in 2017. And, of course, the last one that they managed to ask in the time allowed, which World Player of the Year joined City, of course, on a free transfer in 2005. Of course, it was George Weah who scored a goal and only lasted a couple of months. But, hey, it was good at the time, wasn't it? I think we were all a bit giddy and excited at the time, weren't we, when George Weah was coming. But, hey, there you go. Right, that's that. I hope you enjoyed that. 40 minutes. I'll try and keep it to 30 minutes. I'm sorry I've gone on a little bit too long, but I hope you enjoyed the Roy Clarke thing anyway. I'll be back with another City Pass in another week or two's time, another 7 to 10 days' time, which we'll be looking at December. We'll be looking at December, where a certain manager called Horton was in charge. The Swales Out thing was in its pomp, for the Swales Out Franny In campaign was at its pomp. And sadly, we started this December in the bottom six. So that's the December I'll be looking at. And you have a guess of the year before I do it. See if you can think out what year it was. So Mr. Brian Horton in charge. Mr. Swales was on his way out. We were lying in the bottom six. So we weren't bottom, so we were okay. We weren't a total disaster. But hey, I'll be covering that in the next City Pass. And obviously, if you get onto the City Presents, you can catch up with reviews of games and previews of games, etc. on there. Anyway, thanks for watching. Push the old subscribe button if you like these sort of things. And if you want to know when these things are coming out, push the bell notification in the middle. I'm on Twitter at nostalgia_movie, and I post things about City Past on there on this day in a certain year, etc. So there's always stuff on there. I'm on Facebook at Bernardine with links to moviegamenostalgia.com, which is my website for movies, board games, and posters, which is my business and how I pay the bills. So if you get on there, you're after an old DVD or some posters, please go on moviegamenostalgia.com. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a privilege again to look back at some things and sharing some of my memories, obviously mingled in with memories from such luminaries as Gary James, and obviously I'd also have to thank Wikipedia today. I've also had a quick read of stuff on there for Mr. Roy, to find out things on Royston Clarke, Mr. Roy Clarke. So I hope you enjoyed that. Whatever you're going to do the rest of the day, have a great one. Look after yourself, look after your friends, and more importantly, look after your family. And I'll see you all again very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.